All right, welcome everyone. We're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we're here for
Keep Your Hands Off Eizouken, Episode 6.
All
Okay,
right. We got giant robots.
Giant robots! We are here on the next project for our, anime club.
Yes,
I mean,
yes.
they make anime.
Yeah, exactly. But now that they've partnered with the club that has made for generations this magnificent robot, we now or mecha, but robot, but but whatever. The point is that we now have the style of production that they're going to be making,
Right.
kind of defined here, and we've decided what kind of stuff will be attached to this.
Exactly.
Drills, chainsaws and all.
Oh yeah, and our characters got their first experience working with a customer.
Yes,
on
exactly.
a commission.
Yes,
and all of the ridiculous things that they want to have in there that because they don't understand how the thing works.
Right.
They don't know what they don't know.
Exactly. And what I love that they got to communicate with that, not just the club, not just Asukasa, Kanamori, and Mizusaki, but what was you laughing about?
Oh, just that. Yes, it is Asukasa, right? Because I think we had gotten it mixed up in some of the previous.
Were we saying like
Asukasa or something like that? Like an A or I don't. Yeah. Anyways, I think.
Okay. Is it Asukasa?
It is Asukasa.
Dang it! Now you're
damn it. But anyways, yes, it is Asukasa. But
okay,
here we are.
You keep going with that. I'm going to double check to make sure that it is Asukasa. Now you've got me like paranoid, man. Keep going. We got this.
But here we are, and they commiserated over their shared passion for just making stuff and how awesome robots can be. And so now we are going to be working on this project that is not what they originally wanted it to be, necessarily from the standpoint of being able to now make whatever they want, because money does help this machine keep going.
We were wrong.
Asakusa.
It's Asakusa.
Asakusa. There we go. Yeah.
Sorry, guys. Asakusa. There you go.
Go man. But yeah, Asakusa. I'm sorry if I continue to say that. It's going to take a little bit of adjustment.
It's going to be okay.
Period.
Asakusa. But y'all, without further ado, let's just jump right into this. Okay.
Right.
A lot of stuff. Next level.
Ah.
Cool. Concrete, meaning. Yeah. It groans, moans anyway. Oh my god.
Oh. Wow. How long is this gonna be?
Yeah.
制作期間は3倍あるんですが、部活時間内に収まりませんか、水崎氏。無理、家でもやんなきゃ。こんな線が多い動画描くのめちゃくちゃ大変なんだよ。
Oh, sure.
実際どれぐらい大変なんですか。
Do the math, yep.
つけながら描いた500枚の下書きのトレスがたった 0.02 ミリずれただけで瞬間地獄に落ちる呪いを。
Jesus.
動きを考えながらこんな線の多い絵を時速3枚描くのは呪いなんだよ。 高校でアニメ制作は
It's impossible.
Okay.
Jeez.
進捗はどうですか。まだ平気。こっちゃコンテ待ちでスケジュール修正してんすよ。平気なわけないでしょ。若い修正のたびに PC 室借りるのは時間かかりますしな。
Kanamori.
All right.
It's your time.
Yep.
Let's get easy breezy, y'all.
Yep.
Taking things to the next level.
Easy breezy. Easy breezy. Easy breezy.
Easy breezy. Oh, wait for it. My favorite one.
Yeah.
Wait, it's actually more like up here, but yeah. I wish I could have everything in frame so that you guys could see.
Yeah.
But yeah.
We can definitely transition between them that fast. Soapy is so much fun.
Easy breezy. Easy breezy. Easy breezy. Easy breezy. Hey, da 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 ba da ba da ba ba da ba 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 ba. Easy breezy. Hey, breezy. Ah. Kanamori went and built a PC, just like in the span of the afternoon. Oh. Right.
Yeah.
Spending money.
Not just getting milk? What?
All right. Wow.
She needs to break serious news.
Yeah. Yeah. She even put her hair up. Oh. Es perfecto.
いいですね。いきなり水しぶきが上がる。ここを基地とする。1階から2階まで無事。
Wow.
おお、いい感じ。いろいろあって、ロボットのサイズは8メートルになった。
Nom 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 nom. Awesome.
体重出現の通報。トンタバタトンタバタラタトンタバタトンタバタラタトンタバタトンタバタタラタン。ロボット出撃。
Come on. Yeah.
ゲート。レール。
Oh, sweet. Cool.
稼働する装置の数々。勝って終わり。
There you go. And it's done.
アクションシーンが恐ろしくざっくりしてるのですが。
Yeah.
Yeah.
何がパーフェクトだ、具体化しろ。アクションは苦手なんだよ。
Ah.
私ちょっと書いてる。
Yeah. Mizusaki's skills coming in here.
直後打撃の反作用で弾き返される。走りの予備動作、パンチの予備動作、ぐっと力を入れる瞬間、こういう動作がポイントなわけよ。
Okay.
All right.
すみません、唐辛子ラーメンちょっとお待ちください。いただきます。
Oh, Kanamori's waiting for hers.
Yeah.
Oh.
やっぱ交換は大事じゃよ。そうだね。どうしよっか。
And here it is. Oh no.
PC 手配しました。
Oh.
Okay.
Okay.
32,000円です。暴力的な低価格ではないか。
Yeah.
Yeah.
の研究部です。
Oh no.
新しい
Wait.
を組むために
So.
だろうが勝負。
Okay, that's good, but what did we give them in return? That the money, right.
Right. But where's the catch on all this? Is it just that they're gonna have to work like crazy?
学校がライセンス契約してたので、実質。
Oh. She's not even gonna be able to eat around. She just went straight to sleep. Oh my god, she's working overtime the most.
Uh-huh.
今回の目標は
Dang.
アニメの完成。完成は目標ではなく。
And how's that eat?
だからではなく、すでに始まってるんですよ、閉鎖は。
And done.
Yeah. She's gotta finish quickly so that she can go back to sleep.
別会計で。
Wait.
私は1000円以上もらう主義です。面談は貸しにしといてください。なんだそりゃ。
Wow.
Although I am very much.
ないかの簡単な確認だよ。あんたらみたいに厄介な部が多くて、こっちも忙しいんだ。
Whoa. Oh. Is the audio club the one she's gonna have to work with to get the sound effects? Oh, is she already doing something kinda... Okay. Like the little text on the floor there showing us the recording rooms and stuff. Yeah, no, those are locked.
やかましいぞ。なんでさあなた。映像犬のもんです。映像犬。結構です。
Dang. Wow. This room is huge.
Uh-huh. Oh, and all those shelves.
Oh. Oh, no, she's using this against them.
Yeah.
こりゃすごいことですよ。ここにはありとあらゆる SE が揃ってる。この部屋だけで500万くらいの価値が。
Wow.
Dang.
全部売っちまおう。金で売られる代物ではない。これほど貴重なものは世界中どこを探してもここ以外に存在しない。その通りじゃ。の滝72項、季節を72分割した式ならぬ72項じゃ。
What?
膨大な記録。
That is insane.
そうそう。分かったら早く出る。
Oh! Oh! No, you! Yeah!
私がここを不当に占拠してる事実が変わるわけじゃねえ。ちゃんと読め。もう無理。
Oh.
え、こんなのがあと4部員はゼロだし。
Oh.
明け渡せと言われても、ここはどうか見逃していただきたい。我々の音響の実態を見たまえ。
She's just like, it hurts! It hurts! That's amazing! So if you work with us, we'll keep your club going.
Yeah. Ah.
Right. Oh, a handling charge.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
All right. Cool.
Domeki.
Domeki. Cool.
100の目の鬼っす。かっけえ。はいはい、取りますよ。こっち向いて。はい、バター。
Wow.
はい。
森を抜けて音響部から部室に入るルートを4日前に。
Awesome.
どうですか、コンテ。水崎氏。
She's in the zone. No longer gonna get anything out of her.
Yeah.
Okay. It's the art club. Cool.
このシーンは6時くらいですので、光はですね、こっちからでして。あれ
この穴何？
作画するときに動画用紙を固定するもののことだよ。レイアウトにも穴が開いてるので、そこを合わせれば作画と背景がずれない。
She gets it.
Yep.
車何色？車種は？
いや、車はセルなんでこっちで描きます。黄色で塗ってあるものはセルです。
Nice, nice. Talking about that, yeah. Can't be a part of the background, yeah.
してる方がアニメっぽくない？よう知らんけど。それは。やけど宿直の先生くらいおらんと不自然やない？あれ、ごめん。私なんかおかしなこと。
Oh God, I hate it when that kind of stuff happens.
Yeah.
雰囲気合わせてもらえば、あとは自由に。あ、でもここはセルとの組み合わせがあって、ここの線は守ってください。
オッケー。で、この建物はどこに立ってんの
This is something that, yeah, Asakusa's not really used to. The idea of communicating all of this. Still explaining everything to the club. Oh my god!
黒曜石だ。ひしばっただ。丸くて可愛い。
Aww.
記録、ひしばった。木造ボートの残骸とタイヤは撤去不可とする。物事には訳がある。対怪獣ロボット。待て、本当にこのままでいいのか？
Oh no.
目を背けてきたが、腕が組めなくて真上を見上げられない構造でいいのだ。
Uh-oh.
Oh no.
Uh-oh.
Analysis
No.
paralysis.
No.
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 No. This is.
Stop! Abort! Abort!
No.
Abort!
No.
No.
Yep. No, that can't satisfy you. It's you. Exactly.
いつもそう言うんだ。なんすかこのちっこいの。ロボに代わって怪獣を倒す乗り物、バギーである。
No. No.
Yeah.
でも視聴者の目は厳しいんだ。
Yes, they can. But the thing is, acknowledge that this is mostly for you.
ロボアニメ制作は逃れられない罪を背負う。あんたは万人に合わせて絵を描けるほど器用な人間なんすか。
Oh, well said.
この目なんか気にせず描きゃいいんすよ。そんな ダメだと思うからこの作品はだ。
Yes, she said it. Yes.
Right.
Yes.
あんたが満足できるロボットを好き勝手描く以外の選択肢はないんすよ。
Yep. Don't try to make this about other people.
絶対に間に合うなら内容についてとやかく言わない。だが
Daga.
面白くなかったら責任は全部お前にあるからな。なぜならあんたは監督なんだ。
Oh. Finally. Good stuff. Nice. So then when they don't want to show the internals, they don't have to.
Yeah.
Which is... This is good.
I love this show.
There is so much good stuff to talk about in this one here. I love it. Oh,
I love the audio effects, and it's just
on the mud.
On the mud.
I'm trying to remember what instance I have in my life where I showed someone the equivalent of that for some other skill that they had, and it was just the stop! And for some reason they were forced to watch. I'm trying to remember what it was, but it was something where they were like, I can't, please, no. It was,
please make it stop.
Yeah.
I'll do whatever you want.
Right.
Just don't show me anymore.
Yeah, it's the please let me help you so that you stop torturing me with knowing that you're willing to let this kind of a...
Oh my god.
Yeah.
The comments from the people that are just like, wait, but why, what about, this thing?
It doesn't matter what you want.
Oh my god.
It literally does not matter what you want. You're not the people making the thing. Like, because you've commissioned artists and stuff and dealt with that probably, right?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
God, I love this show.
This show is so freaking good. I think that the show really handles well the drama regarding just a group of people coming together to work on a passion project. But once you start bringing in things like, deadlines, money, budgeting your resources and time, then finding ways to keep people in the group motivated to do their work at not only enough of a quantity but a quality as well. Then also having someone that's the manager person of making sure that a lot of the logistical things stay on track, which is usually in of itself, I would say, one of the hardest parts of it, because you have to make sure that you don't alienate your part to play. Alienate yourself regarding your part to play from the group, meaning Kanamori is very much wanting to make sure that she doesn't turn Asakusa to be antagonistic towards her because of how much of a driver she is in making sure that this stuff gets done. So we get to understand a little bit more of how impossible it is that they're making an anime in high school. That's just nuts.
There are a lot of extreme things. Like, they need to be at an extreme school like this in order for this to be possible, right? They need to be able to have, audio engineers like, I forget their name, but their name was awesome.
I can get their name. Yeah.
Where yes, and they have to use extortion and things like that and extenuating circumstances, but they have enough passion and capability in this regard, and also available time to be able to dedicate themselves to making this project really, really awesome in their own unique way that they can contribute. Because of the main characters, there's only 3 of them, and one of them is just coordinating all the other people that will be working on this project, right? So it's a bit ridiculous. God, that whole sequence of the running on the...
Oh my God, the running on the treadmill, showing like what it was like for their animation to show like what the movements would lead to certain sound effects and stuff. And it was just oh my God, that's just painful to experience. Domeki is the name of the sound engineer. So this is going to be perfect. We have limitless sound effects, which I love is just a thing of like, hey, suddenly limitless sound effects.
Right. And so, we could sell this for, 5 million yen.
Yeah, plenty of money there with regards to that. So a lot of things moving along in order to make sure that this ends up actually being possible to happen, which I love that they're bringing that up in a way to say, hey, this is an impossible situation. So there's going to be some impossible circumstances that lead to them being able to make the impossible possible.
Suzume needing to just draw all the time, even in bed with, on a tablet and everything, so she can just hide it if her parents come in or things like that. Yeah,
exactly. I loved the focus on Asakusa and her struggle to stay motivated during this, because when she gets motivated, she put them from 4 days behind to 3 days ahead with her storyboards being drawn. And what they determined was how much freedom she had in order to just cut loose and go crazy with it. This is something I think that all creative types have on some innate level, even if it's not to this extreme.
Yes.
Because you get to draw or create or whatever you want, it leads to these moments where there's like a train track that you get on that you weren't on, and then you just get propelled forward. And then tons of stuff is able to be created from it, even though it's raw, unfiltered, not really as pristine or clean necessarily. It's still work that came out of that raw rush of inspiration. But inspiration is not where the work gets done. It's in the grit. It's in the sweat. It's in the tears.
Inspiration is fickle.
Exactly. Do not seek inspiration. It is a waste of time. just go ahead and fail over and over again.
Yep.
You'll get a lot more stuff done.
Yeah, and it sucks, but that's kind of how it works.
That's why we need Kanemoris.
Right.
Because Kanemori will come in there and trick you and think,
why are you here, soldier?
Right, she's going to trick you into buying ramen for yourself because she cares about you. But then she's like, I'll just pay you back eventually.
Right, exactly.
Right.
But like okay, so one of the things that I have experienced a lot in situations like this, where you're pouring your blood, sweat, and tears, heart and soul, and everything into an endeavor,
right?
And you're not necessarily sure how it's going to turn out. Now, in this situation, it's great because there's the three of them working together,
right?
And they already did the one thing, so then they have another thing that they're working on, and it's awesome, right? But because you're putting so much of yourself into it, you need to make sure that mentally you're doing well.
Right.
Because one, that will be going all over the place because of what you're doing, right?
Yep.
But then also, if that ends up faltering, or when that ends up faltering, it can be really difficult to still be moving forward with that same level of grit and determination. Even not talking about inspiration, just the grit side of things, because then you're wondering, is it even worth the suffering and the passing of this love-filled kidney stone if it's not a love-filled kidney stone? If it's just a regular kidney stone, I don't want to do that, right?
No. And I love that Asakusa brings that up and basically goes almost full breakdown and says, I don't want to do this at all. We're going to switch this around entirely. And Kanemori's like, no, that is actually the only thing we can't do.
Exactly.
So, therefore, I need you to cut the shit and get this stuff done. And even then, after the whole thing, the whole wonderful bit of monologuing that Kanemori did to Asakusa, she still laid down in the chair until sundown, until nighttime. And then perked back up and was like, I've got it. Because during that whole time, she was, drawing out the details of the actual, internals for the robot.
Thanks for pointing that out, because I totally didn't make that connection. Like, this show has so much zany, frantic energy to it that, it makes me really excited to rewatch, because I know I'm missing.
Definitely.
I know that there are things that it's just moving so fast. I don't catch all of it, right?
Right, for sure.
But man, I love the details of that, because that whole thing that Asakusa was going through, like I'm actually going through it literally right now.
Right, exactly.
So
yeah, so it's super relatable.
That is an old frenemy of mine.
Right.
So I loved to see it here. And as far as all the ridiculous things that happened in this episode, I would say that was the least ridiculous, because it's normal that you have that ridiculous response to it, because it's your baby and things like that, and you're like, well,
right. So, and then this is the other part that I found ridiculously relatable, was the point where they were trying to communicate to the art club, this is what we need you to do. Then the art club, the leader or whoever, she's like, but wouldn't it make more sense to do this? Wouldn't it make more sense to do this? It's like, you're wasting our time.
Yeah. Did I ask you that question? Like,
I don't remember asking you a goddamn thing.
Yeah, exactly.
This is the thing that I think is so relatable here. There are so many times when people partner up specifically, and it's a thing of where I'm going to handle this thing. You're going to handle this thing. And there's an agreement made that they're each going to handle these things. Then one party in this area says, hey, the way you're doing things in this area, wouldn't it make more sense to do this? And it's like, hold up.
Yeah.
One, your opinion is valid, and you're a human being, and thus I will give you respect and, treat you kindly. But until you've finished and received all the parts that you're going to do in order to make your part work, you have no place to say anything about what I'm working on over here. So it is, I'm sure, so frustrating for people that are in these kinds of environments on a professional level, to see this happening, going like, oh, that like it like makes them pass a kidney stone of memories of like, yada yada does it. I remember when so and so got in my grill about a thing that they don't know anything about. Yep. And even if they're right, about what would make more sense, it doesn't matter, because there are things that you don't know about how that situation works. This reminds me of the thing that they said later in the episode, where Asakusa is like, viewers can be absolutely like viewers can be cruel. They can not really like they can be ruthless in their reviews regarding certain things. This reminds me of how many times I've seen people tear down a created work because of nitpicking those kinds of things. Yep.
Like so there I have things I need to get off my chest on this topic. So on the one hand, that kind of 5-year-old test is very helpful, because the outside perspective can point out
5-year-old test. Like explain that. Just for I know what you're talking about. Yeah. But
it's the idea that when you have the supervillain with their excellent intricate plan, they don't run it past the 5-year-old test. They don't give it to a 5-year-old and say, what do you see? Right? Because since you're close to it, there are things that you just won't see, right? And having that additional perspective can be very helpful.
Totally.
But there are times when, one, that is not needed, and two, that is not wanted.
Right.
And three, the person thinks they're someone who actually would be deserving of giving that kind of feedback, and they're not. And they are not. Like, so there is a special kind of rage that builds up in me over stuff like this. Like so I'm gonna tell you guys a horror story of mine.
Oh, good. Let's go.
So when I was writing Battle Lines, first off, if you are trying to self-publish a novel, good. It's fucking luck, I salute you. But one of the worst things that I ended up finding was, how do you find an editor, right?
Right.
And I ended up finding like 4 or 5 editors, and that was a whole other mess. But because all the really good editors with good track records will usually already be working for companies, and they won't want to work with you, right?
Yeah.
So then you have to find some
self-publishing.
Exactly, right? So then you have to find someone who's good at what they do, but the thing is that it's very hard to get to know exactly whether their editing style will work with you, because what an editor should be doing is trying to make your story the best story that you can make, not changing the story.
Right.
And because the editors that you probably end up working with don't necessarily have that same level of professionalism, even if they're doing it in a way that is financially successful for them, because they're not working in the actual like industry, it's helping self-published people. One of the earliest editors that I worked with, and I was paying them a lot of money, they said that they loved sci-fi. A lot of the things that they seemed to work on was sci-fi. No, it was awful. It was a nightmare, because it was like they were just wanting to change the story to something completely different. That like for reference, they were like, I think that some of the female angels should try and seduce Soul to try and gain standing and power and things like that. And I was like, Are you even reading my manuscript? Are you even looking at the story that I'm trying to make? Like, it was so awful. It was so awful. So I understand this kind of struggle. And that's when it's with someone where you're actually going to them and saying, I need your input on this kind of thing, right?
So it is wanted.
So it is wanted. Needed. It is needed, but what the hell are you doing?
Right.
And even more so when it's usually the passive aggressive.
They're then trying to be the writer rather than being just the editor.
Yeah. And then there's the thing where it's the passive aggressive comments from the people that wished they had continued their writing project that they hadn't, and they don't like the fact that you're doing it and that you're actually going to self-publish it. So then they start reading it and they start giving little bits of commentary and things like that, because they're just projecting their own like insecurities over the fact that they didn't actually write something and they wished they did. So,
and it usually is something where if you're like, well, maybe they were well-intentioned and stuff like that. Let me just tell you, like, there's a very easy way to tell when it's one or the other. Mm-hmm. And as, one who has heard those types of stories more often than I heard literally the editing story, because I think I only heard like like 2% of it from before, but I knew about the other comments and stuff like that because you just tell me. It's very obvious. It's painfully obvious, and yet the worst part about it is that to them, they don't have a clue. Like these are right. Well-intentioned, nice people that are acting just completely out of their own minds.
And it was showcased so well in this episode because afterwards the person's like, "Did I say something weird?
Yeah, did I say something strange?"
Yeah.
And what was great was that the other people in the club, I think one of them reacted in a way of like, and I want to go back and check to see which one it was. They just stopped talking.
Right.
Yeah, kind of more. Yeah, they just stopped talking, and then so they both noticed, and then one of them goes, so what do you want for this part, and just moves on quickly.
Right.
Now I actually wonder really quickly, because of the fact that this person did this here. What was their role within this? Let me go back and check to make sure. You're the club president. Okay. So
the person in the middle?
The person on the right.
Oh.
No. No, they were the person that was
gotcha.
Okamoto. So Okamoto specifically, I believe, was the person that started the club. So at the very least, they're interested in art, and they probably do art. I don't think that they were trying to insinuate in some ways that Okamoto doesn't even do art here. But I think on some level, my frustrations with Okamoto led to me maybe even thinking, wait, are they just making the second years do all the work or something?
Right, because
those two actually brought up things that I think were really good questions. Like the idea of wanting to understand, wait, what color do you want this car? You clearly don't want it all yellow. So why is it yellow? That's a cell thing, but it's not an actual cell. It's just not going to be
marking it that we'll take care of.
Right. We've got, that's not going to be part of the backgrounds, if that makes sense. So I loved this scene because there were a lot of things being communicated that I understood the frustration of, and the fact that it led to a spiraling out of control mental state of Asakusa, I think is something that we as viewers need to understand, especially if you're a part of a fan base regarding a series of a thing that has a really close tie, I would say, to the community specifically.
Sure.
And this is something that's become more and more common nowadays. One of the things I'm really liking in the live action scene of things is how tightly knit a lot of these smaller TV shows are with their online communities on all the sites and stuff like that, the social media sites, fan sites and stuff. So they'll be like, retweeting fan art from like specific things and stuff like that. But it is something that I think is so important for us as fans to understand, in that if you have the ability to end up speaking in a way that will end up making its way to the creators of the thing, and you're nitpicking, really question the value of your nitpicking.
Right. Because
I'll just say that you're usually your nitpicking is stupid. Usually, just as someone that has nitpicked a lot. And it's well documented sometimes on this very channel. It's usually pretty stupid. You guys can probably just can think of 10 times. You're like, remember that time? It's very easy to find. The other thing is that it's probably ignoring something that's not necessarily obvious to you. So you're not necessarily aware of it, and that there's something else as to why that thing is actually maybe a legitimate nitpick, but it needs to be there. And then the other part is that even if you're right necessarily, the actual effect that sometimes these things can have on leading towards creators who aren't necessarily young teenage girls in high school doing their first animated work or something like that.
Right. No. But it's still a very emotional kind of thing that they're doing.
But this is one person, mind you.
Oh, sure.
Imagine if you made your entire career on YouTube, let's just say, about nitpicking, shows and movies and things like that. I've very much been a fan of a channel that does the opposite, in that they do everything that they loved about a specific movie or series or what have you. I really, really find a lot more I don't know, value to be gained from that than the nitpick side of things. But anyway,
my
that's
favorite.
just my rant on that.
Probably my favorite line of how Kanamori addressed Asakusa's whole situation and breakdown was since when were you an artist that could, make things that appealed perfectly to everybody? That was awesome because it so completely cuts to the heart of the matter of
since when are you slick enough to appeal to everyone with your art anyway?
It's like,
oh my god, that is something all creatives need to hear,
because like when you hear it, it's like, well, yeah, of course that's so obvious, but you're not thinking about that, and
making this art for you.
You're making this art for you, but when there comes across the person where it doesn't appeal to them, and they maybe point out why, and the reasons why you can understand, right? When it's just a personal preference thing, it's like, oh, okay, that's easier to to brush off,
and
right?
sometimes you're gonna learn something where you're like, maybe I missed something there,
right? And sometimes it's I can improve that for next time. Sometimes it's there wasn't really any better way to do it necessarily. It's it's unfortunate, but what other solution is there, kind of a thing. But because I know for myself that so often I will get so wrapped up in my own headspace and things like that, where you forget that when it comes right down to it, you're just someone doing something you enjoy, and hopefully other people enjoy it too. Oh, and maybe a fair amount of people do. Yeah, but that doesn't mean everyone will, and that's okay.
Yeah, I think that one of the tough things about this being a thing that they're so investing so much time into is it makes it easier for them to identify with it. Yeah. Thus, one of the things I think that makes Asakusa very much need freedom within this is she needs to pour her identity into her work in order for it to be a thing that she's interested in. Sure. Which leads to the immature, I would say, kind of response regarding this, where any critiques on the work then makes it a thing of where she's like,
it's critique on me.
I'm getting attacked, And
what do I do?
This is just a part of growing up. I've definitely felt like Asakusa in this situation tons of times before YouTube, more during YouTube. But this is something that what Kanamori brings up here is that just do what you're doing without worrying about what other people think. And then she's like, if we were that bold, we wouldn't be having this conversation, would we?
I love that.
The way she's like, you're not as bright as I thought.
You think very highly of me.
Right.
But I don't have trouble with this.
Right. But then this is the part that I think that is not always necessarily true, but it is something that everyone needs to hear, that most of the time when you're in these situations, this work is only bad because you think it is. Because I'll just say, whether some work is bad is such a vague, subjective concept.
Yep.
Who has the right to determine if someone's art is bad?
Oh yeah.
It is such a thing that I still do not understand, because there is this idea, right, that if someone created, art that, say if some artist like Rembrandt or something like that created something that looks like a 5-year-old drew it. They might go, oh, this is so disappointing for Rembrandt. But if the 5-year-old does the art, that was slightly lower than Rembrandt's level, they're like, this person's a genius, because then they're applying certain parameters because of the age and stuff like that. What if I showed you the same art that was drawn by, the 5-year-old or Rembrandt, for instance? Yeah. The art doesn't have any extra value until you knew about those specific things there. Sure. Did you see how ridiculous it is to draw a thing as saying this is bad, this is good? It just reminds me in how much I need to make sure I never become a critic. I do not have the I do not have the I don't have the mindset or what have you to do it properly. So every time I look at it the way it would actually need to be done properly, I'm like, no, I can't even see that really. Anyway.
And this is one of the reasons why I feel like when when we talk about spoilers, sometimes like I can think something is a spoiler, even though it's not actually getting any plot details or things like that.
Sure.
Because it's when knowing someone's opinion about something colors your perspective on it, especially if you know that they have the full perspective, right? If they've seen the whole thing. And the ability to go into something blind and have it be a blank slate where you're just interpreting what you see, you're not, you know, like, you're not taking in what other people are saying about something, right? You know, oh, is it okay to like this recent Star Wars movie that came out yet? You know, is that a thing? Oh, or do I need to shit on it with everyone else? You know, like,
oh my God.
Like
I think that's literally what happens in a lot of ways with critics, even in general.
Oh, yeah.
Is that they just read whoever is the one that they think has the best kind of view on this.
Mob mentality.
And then they
there you go.
just do the same thing that they did with their own, you know, writing style or something. And of course, then there's other controversies within critics where it becomes a thing of where, you know, they're bought and stuff. We're not talking about that. I'm bringing up the point in which you are usually your own worst critic.
Right.
But oftentimes it can be the asinine comments by someone that deems their opinion to be really important that they speak it out in this instance here. And, you know, I'm all about free speech. You share your opinions and stuff like that. But free speech to say that you're an asshole sometimes too. Yeah, you know?
That
means that we can basically give you feedback about how your critiques sound. You know?
And that as if you're a creative, right? So there's the whole thing of don't pour water on someone else's fire, right?
Yeah, sure.
And that's really important.
Yeah.
But sometimes I feel like creators will do this with their own fire, when they go to share it to someone else, and no, don't do that. It's the same kind of thing that you wouldn't want to do that when someone might get excited about something that you didn't make.
Exactly.
Right? Because you don't know. And if you bring your own insecurities into the situation, right, and you start projecting them out there, then that might ruin their experience with something that they might have otherwise enjoyed that you made.
Yeah. Like in some ways, what's really cool about this is you look at the character of Kanamori, and that's why I think myself and Jacob and so many other people love Kanamori.
Oh, yeah.
She is the character that is in some ways the most unrealistic in this whole thing here. She's amazing. The fact that she's able to be a part of this and continues to be such a great encourager and is so curt with the people there and tells them exactly what they need to hear. And yet she cares so much about the project because she's involved in it. She's suffering with them. She's pouring out her life into this. She's passing out in the ramen shop.
Oh, yeah.
Like, that is something that is so rare in a person to find that you'll usually only find, you know, pieces of what makes Kanamori who she is in a friend and stuff, and you'll like cling to that person and be like, please be a part of my support group and stuff. I really need people nearby me that can give me that, you know, painful, you know, just advice or stuff like that, or also just give me encouragement with this kind of stuff. And then it's like you end up paying for their ramen. Like those are the kinds of people that you end up basically being like, please stick with me through this. I know it's tough and things like that, but most people don't have a Kanamori. Most people don't even have a team. Kanamori.
And the thing is that Kanamori is an awesome character, an awesome person, but I feel like there are a lot of people that could be Kanamoris, but there isn't as much as acknowledgement as I think there should be of the necessity to have Kanamoris, right? Of the role that Kanamori fills in the show, right? I would not have been surprised if this show was just about a bunch of people that were, you know, drawing anime. Kanamori doesn't draw. She can't draw, right? But she's still a vital member of the team, and she doesn't actually directly do the production of any of it. Right?
Like I know what you're meaning. Yeah.
Like she helps out. She is
involved in the production.
She's involved in the production, but she is not the one actually doing the creating itself.
She is not doing the drawing or the animating.
Yes. But she is absolutely necessary for this to work. And so
I think this is a really cool, unique discussion in that we kind of ranted a little bit about all this. But I hope you guys hear what we're saying in this and hear our hearts in this, because like this show is getting us fired up about the things that we're creative and, you know, excited to do in general. But it is something where along the way you can very much end up in situations where the very people that end up being Kanemoris in your life just end up really failing you.
Sure.
And it's not necessarily anyone's fault. It's just a thing of where if you find yourself in a position of a Kanemori in any way, shape, or manner in someone else's life, just know how treasured you are. Just know how valuable and important you are. Not just because of the things that you do, but because you're sacrificing some part of yourself, your time, your energy, your passion, or what have you, in a way that is just rare. That's just something most people don't do. I myself used to be, I would say, the actual opposite of a Kanemori. Like literally just one of the most critical people out there. I mean, if anything, you guys probably saw this prior to the channel about how disdainful I was towards something like shonen anime in general. Like that came from somewhere though. But like, oh my God, I wish I knew the way to do what Kanemori is doing to Asakusa to people to see if they could be Kanemoris. Or even just to myself to become Kanemori. But anyway, that's all I have to say. This is a magnificent episode.
Absolutely wonderful.
Yeah. We didn't even talk about most of the actual stuff regarding how they're switching up a lot of the things regarding the
mech and the internals of it.
And then also just kind of getting the story kind of planned out and everything. The sound stuff was legit. I loved that whole exchange. It was hilarious and
wonderful.
Falling more and more in love with these characters. I want to see a little bit more focus though in the way they kind of did with this episode with Mizusaki. I feel like she's kind of taken a little bit of a back seat in regards to kind of character focus and stuff. And she does have one of the more unique kind of backgrounds with regards to her character with the whole modeling stuff as well. So I want to see something maybe with her family explored, maybe some stuff where she's doing this constantly and it's starting to frazzle her a little bit and she needs to figure out a way to stay, topped up, so to speak, fueled and ready to be able to keep doing this.
The impression that I've gotten with Tsubame so far is that it's almost like I'm waiting for the other shoe to drop where something goes wrong, right? Where her family finds out about what she's doing, or her work gets in the way, or or something happens that basically causes that starts to chip away at that cheerful, smile on her face self.
For sure.
But thankfully, that hasn't happened yet. I don't know if that'll happen in the future.
Yeah, but we're about halfway through the show now, or we are halfway through the show now. But so y'all, thank you so much for watching this episode's reaction and discussion. If you want to see the next episode's reaction and discussion right now, though, go check out the link in the description below for our Patreon. You can get on early access there. You can watch full-length timer reactions there, and all this comes with Discord access, so you can chat with us in the community there about this show, about anime in general, and you can also talk with Jacob about the sci-fi novel that he wrote.
That's right. My passion project, Battle Lines, is available on Amazon for purchase. The link is in the description down below.
Yeah, so if any of that interests you, we'll see you there. But until then, we're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we'll see you all next time.